Hello everyone. Stephanie Zima here, my way of life coaching, and today I'm going to come to you to talk a little bit about stop trying to take the action without having safety first. Now, this is something that I had to learn, and for years, I was trying to hustle harder, but it never worked. Okay. It never worked for me. And I have learned something that I want to share with you because I know that so many of you are out there frustrated, trying to get a result, trying to get posts on a regular basis, trying to have leads, trying to start conversations, trying to move conversations along, trying to create sales. And there are days when you are like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this anymore. And you're about to quit. And I don't want you to quit. I want you to learn a system that actually works with your nervous system, that works with your human design, that works with your way of being in this world, okay? Because see, the beauty of being an entrepreneur is that there are so many different ways how you can build a business. But one thing we need to agree on, if you do not take action in the respective areas that you need to take action in, meaning lead generations, sales conversations, visibility, posting and being out there. If you're not taking action in these bottom line foundational activities, then no one can buy from you, right? We can agree on that. So how can we take action? That is the key here. And I want to come to you and say your nervous system is what's stopping you. It's not that you don't know what to do. It's not that people haven't taught you. You do know what you're supposed to do, but what you don't know is how to regulate your nervous system appropriately long enough and then change and customize your activities, right? The lead generation, the sales conversations, the DMO, structuring your daily mode of operations around your nervous system. That is where it's key. Okay. Some people are more energetically in the morning. Some people are more night owls. So we can agree on that, right? We know that. Some people can function really well under pressure and some people freeze. I mean, when you think back about how you are acting, and you can sense that there is, some truth to that. Sorry, I'm a little bit stuffed up here. So what I want to talk to you today is, first of all, we talk about why safety precedes your strategy. See, if your nervous system is not feeling safe, you are going to be either procrastinating, fleeing, doing something else, having some kind of an excuse, having some kind of a other task pop up, such as maybe laundry has to happen, or maybe the kids need to do something, or something. So you're fleeing of some sort, or you're freezing, meaning you're completely deadly frozen, you're not doing anything, your brain fog is taking over, and you are just simply not able to do a thing, okay? You get distracted a lot, your reels are taking over. Those kind of things, those are freeze modes. Or maybe you're blaming other people. I never have time. My kid's always demanding so much. My upline doesn't train me enough. My boss is not doing this and that. Some kind of a blame action happens when you are a fighter, when your nervous system shows up in fight mode. What else do we have? We have fight, flight, and freeze. Fight, flight, and freeze. And then there's fawn. The fawn mode is when you do all the things, but you just never do them consistently. You're never doing them long enough. You are doing some messages, but then you're losing track of them. You are showing up and posting something, but you're not doing the activity that is required before and after you make a post, right? So the first step that you need to identify is, do I not know what to do? Because chances are sometimes, maybe newly entrepreneurs, new network marketers, for example, don't know what sales skills they need to do. They just simply have been told, hey, find 3 people, make a list of 100, find 3 people and sell them your stuff. And that works when you know the people in the warm market, okay? But when you are in a cold market, you actually have to have some sales skills. And those sales skills, they can trigger your nervous system to activate. And next thing you know, you are not able to take all the actions consistently and long enough for you to actually have result. Because when somebody doesn't know that you exist, I mean, you can be the best pizza store and pizza shop out there with the most delicious pizza. If people don't know that you're existing, that's not going to happen. And, people that don't know you, even if you sent them a message once or twice, they're not necessarily going to remember you. They're not going to buy from you. I mean, first and foremost, they're not going to buy from you. So what happens is you need to have a system that you warm up clients and you talk to them enough, you qualify them, you talk to them, you serve them a little bit, you stay in touch with them so that they get to know you and decide if they want to do business with you. And then at some point down the line, they are going to make a decision if they want to work with you, buy from you, do whatever, whatever it is you're selling. However, that requires leadership from your angle. See, and this is where the problematic comes in. If you are not being a leader in this entire sales line of work, and you're not showing up in all these checkpoints, then what happens? You're not going to win the medal, right? You're not going to win the close. You just won't. And it has nothing to do with your skills. It has nothing to do with anything. It just has something to do with you not showing up. And that's that. So safety needs to come first so that you can feel good about all the actions that you need to do. How can you feel good about the actions? Well, you're going to observe your thoughts. You're going to figure out what you're thinking about it. You are going to investigate about your feelings on it. You're going to work with those feelings. And so then you reframe it to a point that you actually feel good, and you move your DMO around to the point that it works for your specific system. All of that stuff we are working on in our Freedom Mentorship and my Freedom Mentorship group. If you're interested in that, let me know. DM me later. I'd love to know. That's a monthly subscription where I help everybody to figure exactly all these steps out, right? So, because it can be hard to do by yourself. It can be really hard because you don't know your blind spots. See, that's the thing. You do not know your blind spots. When you're in a frozen mode, there's nothing what's going to help you until you're unfrozen. So, the key here is to be strategic enough to not get frozen in the first place, because once you are already frozen, boom, you're frozen. You're not doing anything. Okay, so the next topic here is what unsafe growth feels like in the body. So when you learn something, like you are urged to take all the courses, you're urged to do all the stuff, right? You're doing your personal development calls with your company or with your boss or whatever. You're doing all these things. And you learn, but you never apply. See, it's kind of like, my mentor used to say, like, you have to learn something and you have to apply something. You have to learn something, you have to apply it. It's kind of like walking, right? You learn, apply, learn, apply, learn, apply. That's a healthy way of going. Most entrepreneurs, though, they are like learning and they're not applying, and they're 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 learning and they're not applying, and therefore they're stuck on the same spot. Okay, that is where the problem happens when you are having an unsafe growth plan, so to speak, right? You can only apply when you are actually able to move, when you are not hiding, when you are not procrastinating, when you're not fleeing and running away from it, when you feel safe enough to take the actions. That is when you can learn and apply and learn and apply. And that is why I believe 80% of people are missing out, because that piece of nervous system regulation is not something that people pay attention to or are even aware that they can. Okay, so the cost of forcing action. See, we hustle. Entrepreneurs are taught to hustle. You just have to have more conversations. You have to do more and more and more and more and more. What happens when you do that? You're going to burn yourself out. Depending on your human design, right? Who you are, what you're supposed, I am, for example, a generator. I am supposed to be only in responding. If I don't respond to something, to a trigger, if I don't respond, if I am put in a position of forcing something all the time, then what happens is I am actually going to respond with frustration. And that frustration, that increases my cortisol level, that frustration increases my stress levels in general, like my hormones, my sleep, everything that is in with health in my body. That is what's happening, right? So I cannot always force something, because then my body is going to pay the price with the higher cortisol levels. So I'm sorry, I have somebody at the door. It's a little tricky here. Hang on, let me just make sure. Okay, all right. So how to build internal safety before something launches. Okay, before something launches, you have to before something launches, you have to first of all be aware. You have to know your things. You have to know what your nervous system is like, what it's responding to, what you are going to be able to do when it starts acting up. You got to know your internal triggers, and you got to work with them. Okay, and when you have a launch of some sort, when you want to like start a challenge, or maybe Black Friday sales, or maybe a spring sale, or a summer sale, or something you want to do, you have to know, are you going to freeze up when the pressure is going to get too big, right? Are you going to freeze up? What happens when out of the sudden you have all these customers responding to you? Will you be able to freeze up, or will you be able to rise? Will you be a responder like me? Like if I have 10 people coming to me and saying, I want this, I'm going to be like, okay, let's go, right? I'm right. But if I have to push everybody, that's exhausting to me. If I have to talk to everybody 50,000 times and push, that push I need to prepare for. In my system, in my body, and with my unique makeup, I need to prepare for that energetically. Do you know how your body responds, right? See, when I push, and I had to learn this the hard way. This is something that I did not know. Nobody taught me that until I taught myself and started realizing, because I am a pattern person. I watch and observe patterns, and because I am so stubborn, right? That's the German in me. I keep going and checking and learning and learning and learning, and I did, and I keep at it until I know what the answer is. So I realized it was my nervous system that takes me out of the game all the time, and this is why I want to teach you. I want to teach you that you cannot be taken out of the game if you already know what the game is going to be like. See, you can play by the rules, but you can only play by the rules once you know the rules that you're playing by. Okay? Okay, so when you know these things, you can regulate yourself first, because the option is not that you cannot launch. You have to launch, clearly, you have to launch, but you can regulate yourself first, then you launch something, okay? And that is where the sweet spot is going to be. That is where it's going to be coming in. So I want to know from you right now, what part of growth feels most uncomfortable for you right now? Drop that in the comments. Have a conversation with me. I would love to know what part of this video stood out to you. What do you need to learn more about? Did you know about nervous system regulation? Do you know how to do it? If you don't know how to do it and you're an online entrepreneur and you want to learn about it, comment reset. I will send you my nervous system regulation guide for free. That is on how to regulate your nervous system as an online entrepreneur. And like I said, that is a free thing you can have, my little gift to you, because I want you to win. I do not want you to suffer anymore, okay? Because your doubt, your procrastination, your bad feelings of not knowing and not having results, all of that stuff has nothing to do with your ability of creating an income online. It has everything to do with your nervous system regulation or the lack thereof, and you just simply not being aware of your patterns. So comment, reset, let me know your takeaways from this video. If you know somebody that needs to hear about this message, please do me a favor, tag them in this video, or share it out. I would really, really appreciate the support. All right, I'll talk to you all later, tomorrow maybe.